shofars. גם צריך להבין, כמו שבדק במשל אמר, מה שכתוב, ייתקע סתם, ולא נאמר מי תוקע. Why is it said, ייתקע? It shall be blown, but it say who blows it. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהכל נהיה לדברו.
Amen.
So, והאדמו"ר האמצעי, the middle Rebbe continues and adds, מוסיף עוד דיוק בזה שנאמר ייתקע, דלשון ייתקע, תו בקמץ. מורה שייתקע מעצמו. So the Tzemach Tzedek says, the fact that it says ייתקע with a kamatz, it means it will be blown by itself, without anyone blowing it. ונקודת הביאור בהדרוש היא מהתעוררות על ידי שופר סתם.
When it will be blown.
It says, ביום ההוא, on that day. That's the answer. It starts, ויהי ביום ההוא, and it will be on that day. Now, you asking what that day is? Wait a minute. I'm sure we'll get there. Right now, we're talking about the shofar. That day,
Okay.
So, נקודת הביאור בהדרושים היא התעוררות על ידי שופר סתם, הוא רק לאלה שמקירוב קצת. So really, the Drushim explain that being awakened by a shofar, right? When you hear the shofar, it's only when you're nearby. You have to be close to the shofar. If you're not close to the shofar, then you don't get awakened by it. ובכדי לעורר את העובדים בארץ אשור, so how do you awaken the ones who are lost in the land of Ashur?
Whoa. So, you have to be close to shofar.
Correct. Doesn't mean like you have to hear it.
Whoa. Hold on. It's a huge sin, okay? Hold on. If I'm walking over there, okay, I'm not here, I'm not in synagogue. Rebbe Bill is blowing shofar. I'm just walking. Did I listen to shofar or not?
So I'll answer you. On Rosh Hashanah, you did not. On Rosh Hashanah, so in Elul, it's a lot more lenient. On Rosh Hashanah, you have to have...
And that is the question, because you just said it's simply close.
Bekiruv ktsat. No. Bekiruv ktsat meaning they're close, they're somewhat close. So we're going to ask, now the question is being asked even further. How do you awaken the people who are lost in Ashur? והנידחים בארץ מצרים, and the ones who are lost in Egypt. שגם הם יתעוררו לבוא לירושלים. This shofar should awaken the people in Egypt and the people in Ashur, the people all the way everywhere, to come to Jerusalem and bow down to Hashem. Through this shofar, but the shofar is very far away. We said, no, the halacha is, the shofar, you have to have intent. Yes, if on Rosh Hashanah someone walks outside and they have no intent to hear the shofar.
No, he is
and
a
I don't
Jew.
have.
He is a Jew. He's not a Jew. No. He didn't want to go to synagogue.
But he happened to hear all the blowing.
Yeah.
So that's still, perhaps it's close, but the question here is further. These are people in different lands. How does a shofar that is blown affect lands that are far away? Certainly, if it was blown in Egypt, then the people of Ashur are far away, right? If it was blown in Ashur, then either way, you have it be far away, right? So let's try to understand. So what's the greatness of the shofar gadol? Well, what is this grand shofar?
In the future.
Yeah, that will be in the world to come. So first, to understand the grand shofar in the future, we talk about the shofar of now, Rosh Hashanah. Okay. Now, it's a Jew who blows the shofar, right? And it's the scream, the yell from the inner part of the heart that is above reason.
Above intellect.
Above the intellect, yeah. So what happens? You continue from the inner part of the heart above, so to speak. I mean,
you're drawing down.
You're drawing down. The inner part of the heart above. As if. Not literally. Mm-hmm. What is this? This is the divine desire that is above wisdom,
This is the
above the level of chokhmah.
This is the highest will. Ratzon Elyon.
Right, the supernal will.
The supernal will, right?
ועל זה
Which
נאמר,
is higher than the Chokhmah.
right, which is higher than chokhmah. And on this it says, and where is it said in Zechariah? Huh?
He's not-
Always Zechariah, always Zechariah with his
He's
good
right
speech,
here, monitoring
right here
you.
with us, learning.
Why is it
So
Maamar?
על זה נאמר, ועד השם הוויה בשופר יתקע. It is the name Ad Nai, the four-letter name, will blow the shofar. דכמו שתקיעת שופר האדם יצעקה דפנימיות הלב על דרך זה ולמעלה. So when, who blows the shofar? We said Hashem is going to blow the shofar. What do we blow the shofar for? It's a
like how, right?
no. כמו שתקיעת שופר דאדם,
Like
just
the first
like the shofar for a man is an inner cry of the heart to awaken us. Similarly above, דרך זה ולמעלה. עניין תקיעת שופר הוא המשכת וגילוי הפנימיות. So the shofar continues and reveals what's inside, right? When a person blows the shofar, we reveal what's inside us. The desire to cry out and connect to Hashem. Similarly, when Hashem blows his shofar, it's a continuation and a revelation of his inner part, the pnimiut. והחילוק בין שופר סתם לשופר גדול. So what's the difference between a stam shofar, the regular shofar, to the grand shofar? The shofar סתם המשכת וגילוי פנימיות דלקות שלמעלה מעולמות. So when you blow the shofar, when we blow the shofar down below on this earth, on Rosh Shannah, we actually continue and reveal.
down.
We draw down, right? Continue or draw down.
And revealing.
And reveal the inner part of godliness that is above the worlds of creation.
All right. Exactly.
But it's still related to the worlds. It might be above, but it's still connected. It's there's still a connection to the worlds. So Vev Kol Almin, it's surrounding the world, right? So if you think about it,
All the world.
Kol Almin, the whole world.
The whole world.
Right? So if you think about it in secular terms, we have the atmosphere, right? Is the atmosphere is outside the world technically. It's a surrounding Earth, right? But that's still connected to the Earth, even though it's far away from the Earth. It's in the sky, etc. The grand shofar. This is the continuation or revelation of the inner part of godliness that is above relationship to any world. This is above even surrounding the world. This is from the center of the galaxy. This is from so far that the world and the creation is not even connected.
Not even the physical.
Yeah. Right? It's not even surrounding, because Sovev Kol Almin, it's surrounding the world, meaning it's still connected to the world. It's Sovev. This is above that level of surrounding. וזהו שבשופר סתם כתיב ועד השם הוויה בשופר ייתקע. Interesting. So the shofar stam, just a general shofar, that's what when we're talking about a general shofar, it says Hashem's name, the Ad and the Nai, Havaya, in the shofar will blow. The Ad Hashem and Havaya are names. Right, they're elevated names. Baruch Atah Ad Nai, or Havaya is the name we don't even say. Only the Kohen Gadol can say them, and the Beit HaMikdash. But they're names. Ela sheshemot ele Ad Havaya benikud Elokim. So the name of Ad Nai and Havaya with the same nikudot of Elokim, God and nature, are very high names. These are very lofty names. V'shofar gadol kativ ייתקע סתם. So this general shofar that we blow is blown together with Hashem, with Hashem's lofty name Ad Nai, and with Hashem's lofty name Havaya, right? But the shofar, the great shofar, the grand shofar, is even higher than the level of Havaya. Stam, Velo ne'emar mi yotokeh. It's not written who's going to blow it.
Hold on.
Look, כתיב יתקע סתם.
Okay.
I lost.
What does
Zachar,
mean- what does mean
Itaka,
ktiv?
it's written Itaka.
It's gonna be blown.
Blown. Stam. No, it
without
doesn't
it.
say again.
It doesn't say
Vayom
who blown.
hahu Itaka b'shofar gadol. That's it. It's going to be
Nobody
blown.
says who's gonna blow. ולא נאמר מי. It doesn't
ולא
say
נאמר
who's
מי
gonna blow
יתוקע,
it.
exactly. Doesn't say who. כי
Because-
תקיעה זו היא המשכה וגילוי מבחינת סתימה.
because
This is a
blowing the
continuation and
shovel,
revelation
this is the drawing
from
down
the
of
level
the-
of stima, which is the closed, concealed completely.
From the level
Stima, like the word
concealed,
satum.
the call stim-
Stima de kol stimin, the concealed with all the concealed.
concealment,
Shelemala mishimon. So when we
Only the
blow the
names.
normal shofar, we bring down the level of Hashem is blowing with us.
Which is
Ad Nai is blowing with the rabbi when he blows on Rosh Hashanah. When I go on Mifsaim, the Ad Nai and Havaya is blowing with me and helping me do the mitzvah. But when it's going to be in the world to come, it's going to be a much higher level. Yeah. All right. Bet. That was the first. So we're again talking, what is this grand shofar? What is the elevation, the greatness of this great shofar even more? Now we're bringing the third. We're going through the Rebbeim. We had the Alter Rebbe, we had the Mittler Rebbe. The grandson, the Tzemach Tzedek, is coming in. We're bringing all the heavy hitters here. So now the Tzemach Tzedek goes in his explanation of this same mimer and brings מה שכתב בליקוטי תורה, what was written in Likutei Torah, בדיहा להבין המשנה, when it's second, to understand the Mishnah, Yom Tov shel Rosh Shannah. Oh, we're going to discuss what happens this year and what doesn't happen. Yom Tov shel Rosh Shannah שחל להיות בשבת במקדש, היו תוקעים. אבל לא במדינה, השגחה פרטית, this year. What happens? Rosh Hashanah this year starts on Shabbat. And we know that in the Beit HaMikdash, they would blow the shofar, but not in the country. דזה שבראש השנה צריך לתקוע בשופר כדי לעורר על זה למעלה את תענוג בריאת עולמות. Why do we blow shofar? Why, Yasha? Why do we blow shofar Rosh Hashanah? The reason is we want to awaken above the pleasure of the creation of the world. When Hashem hears the shofar, it reminds him of the pleasure of creating the world. But on Shabbat, there's already that pleasure. The level of pleasure that Hashem gets for remembrance of creating the world, he already gets on Shabbat. לכן בראש שנה שחל להיות בשבת, אין צריך כל כך לתקיעת שופר. טלפון ему не нужен на класс. So, again, the idea is in the Mikdash that. So,
is anybody online?
Yes, we have one person online. I can check who it is if I can find out. I don't know if I can find out. Someone is online. If you want to say hi, say hi. Whoever's watching, so we can find out who it is. But again, the idea is on Rosh Hashanah this year, it's going to be on Shabbat, and we're not going to blow shofar. We're going to do all the davening and everything, and then Rabbi Peel's going to skip blowing all the shofar. All right? So because there's already pledged, the question, what about the Beit HaMikdash? Beit HaMikdash, you're talking gam b'Rosh Hashanah shechal b'Shabbat. So if God willing, Mashiach comes, however, and we all merit to already be at the Beit HaMikdash on Rosh Hashanah, then we will get to hear shofar on Rosh Hashanah.
I kind of, let's see, whatever. Well, I'm still unclear. So what happens when the year we could not blow shofar on a Rosh Hashanah? And
This
then
year.
it's Shabbat. Now, what is
We don't need to. The pleasure of Shabbat is already a level of pleasure, so we don't need to remind Hashem of the pleasure of creating the world. The purpose of blowing shofar on Rosh Hashanah is, as it says, to remind Hashem of is to awaken through this above the pleasure of the creation of the world. That is what it says. Again, so why do they blow on Shabbat Rosh Hashanah in Beit HaMikdash? Ki betanu kama madrigot. Because even within pleasure, there is pleasure, and there is pleasure. There's different levels. The level of blowing shofar, the level of pleasure that is brought down by shofar, is greater than the level of pleasure on Shabbat. Shetanuk, the Shabbat I know. It seems to we're contradicting a little bit. I agree. I'm sure the Rebbe is going to bring that up. I agree with you. This is a contradiction. We just said it's pleasure and pleasure, and then we go ahead and say, but this pleasure is more. And we're going to even go further and explain why it's more now. Because the pleasure of Shabbat is the external keter. It's from the outside of the crown. Shoresh hanetzalim, which is the root of the creation, the lower worlds. The pleasure that was brought down by the blowing of shofar in the Beit HaMikdash, it comes from the inner part of the crown. The lower level of the lower attribute of Atzilut. So the Tzemach Tzedek adds that when we're talking about the lower level of the Matzil in the created beings, you're charging it this whole time. You know, Baruch Hashem Ashrecha, that you get to do Cheshbon Nefesh on Elul and think about how we get to improve our Torah learning. So we don't worry about our phones when we learn. It's hard for me too. It's hard for everyone. So Baruch Hashem.
No comment.
Anyways,
no comment.
Anyways, so we said, so we're having a contradiction here. On the one hand, we said we don't blow on Shabbat. Why? Because it's Tanug. It's pleasure and Shofar's pleasure. And right away, right after, the Tzemach Tzedek says, but why did we blow in Beit HaMikdash? Because there is pleasure and there's pleasure. The pleasure of Shabbat is the outside of the ketel, and the pleasure of blowing shofar in the Beit HaMikdash is the inside of the ketel. Pnimiut ketel. The lower level, the inside for the created being.
The aspect
of lower in the Matzil, the Umosifa Tzemach Tzedek.
It's creation.
The created, I believe.
The essence. The aspect of the inner aspect of
the lower. B'Matzil is the good Torah. Class No, we have one guy watching with us, so I don't know who it is. It's a surprise.
Watching yourself.
No, I'm not, because I don't count as one. Umosifa Tzemach Tzedek shegam betanuk b'chinat tachtoná sheb'Matzil. So the Tzemach Tzedek adds the lower level of the Matzil. Yeshnam kama dargot. There's certain levels.
Of the pleasure.
The pleasure and the attribute of the lower part of the Matzil, which is what we said was the blowing of shofar in the Beit HaMikdash. There's several levels. התענוג שנמשך בבית ראשון, לדעת כי השופר הוא נעלה יותר מהתענוג שנמשך בבית שני. This is interesting. The pleasure that existed in the first temple, that was drawn down in the first temple through the blowing of shofar was greater.
But the means of the shofar
through blowing the shofar is greater than the pleasure of the second temple.
Than the pleasure which was drawn down in the second temple.
Correct. ובבית ראשון עצמו, and on the first temple itself, השופר דיום הכיפורים דשנת היובל. And in the first temple, the highest shofar, when was it? Not Rosh Hashanah. The highest shofar was not even a regular Yom Kippur. The Yom Kippur of the Jubilee year, the 50th year. שמצוות יובל הייתה רק בבית ראשון. You can only have the yovel in the first temple. Afterwards, the whole Jewish people. Well, I mean, presumably, what do you mean we lost track? We can do math pretty easily and say that the year 5800 will be Jubilee. I can.
They moved the calendar.
So I'm not 100% sure if I'm being honest. Is the other answer?
Now we're coming back to Jubilee year. A little bit more.
But it doesn't. Well, it doesn't matter until every Jew, until all the tribes are living in Israel, and we have both sides of both the Jordan and the land. It's not shayach nowadays. The mitzvah of the Yovel was only in the first temple, meaning at the time of the second temple, even though the majority of Jews, they did not do Jubilee. So the mitzvah of Yovel was actually higher than the shofar of Rosh Hashanah. So on Yovel, it says, and you passed a shofar of Trua. Shofar stam. This is just a shofar, not shofar gadol. So on Rosh Hashanah, shofar gadol. On Yovel, which is a higher level, as we said, just shofar. So we need to understand. מזה מובן ששופר גדול הוא גם למעלה גם מהגילוי שנמשך על שופר דיובל. So we have to understand the fact that on Yovel it just uses the word shofar. But on, when we talk about, as we remember, ביום ההוא ייתקע בשופר גדול, on that day shall be blown a grand shofar, right? Then there is even higher than the level of the Yovel shofar in the first temple. ולהוסיף דשופר גדול שיעלה עתיד לבוא ולמעלה יותר גם משופר במתן תורה. Oh, let's go even higher. The shofar that will be blown in the world to come is higher than the shofar of Matan Torah. שהרי גם בשופר דמתן תורה נאמר ויהי קול השופר. In Matan Torah it says, and it was the voice of the shofar. Shofar stam. Again, just regular shofar. דזה שממתיר בכתוב ויהי קול השופר הולך וחזק מאוד. And the fact that it says, and the shofar's voice was going and it was becoming very strong. ושקול השופר היה חזק מאוד, קול גדול. The voice was grand. It wasn't a quiet shofar. אבל בנוגע שופר שמל נמשך הכל, but the shofar itself, לא נאמר שהיה שופר גדול. It did not say that it was a grand shofar.
If we are not observing Jubilee,
Right.
okay, but we do observe the seventh year,
Right.
7 by 7, 49.
Yeah.
But we are not observing number 50. So we're starting next 7 from
Yes,
50.
correct. That was always the case. The Jubilee year was also the first year after the Shemitah. It was always the case that the cycle never stopped because of the Jubilee year.
I see. Okay. So
The Jubilee year was always the first year of the. I mean, the Jubilee year is separate from the Shemitah cycle. They're not. Yeah. As far as I know. ומזה מובן השופר גדול שיהיה לעתיד למעלה גם שופר מתן תורה. So again, we explained the shofar that's going to be in the world to come is greater than even the shofar of Matan Torah. חידו בפרקי דרבי אלעזר בעניין בית קרנף של אלו של יצחק דקרן של שמאל נשמע קולו על הר סיני שנאמר ויהי קול השופר וקרן של ימין שהוא גדול מהשמאל עתיד לתקוע בו לעתיד לבוא שנאמר והיה ביום ההוא יתופקע בשופר גדול. So we have two shofars. It says in Pirkei Rabbi Elazar there were two horns to the ram of Yitzchak. The left horn, we heard his voice on Mount Sinai. The left horn we heard on Mount Sinai. But the right horn, which is greater than the left horn, we're going to hear in the world to come. שנאמר, והיה בהם את שופר גדול. It said, in that day will be blown a grand shofar. והטעם על זה ששופר במתן תורה היה שופר סתם, והשופר בשופר גדול. So Mordechai, why is it that the first shofar at Matan Torah from the left ram was just a shofar, and the right horn of Yitzchak's ram will be a grand shofar that's greater than the left?
My shofar is bigger than yours.
והטעם על זה שהשופר במתן תורה, so what was the reason? מבאר הדמור האמצעי, we go back to the Mittel Rebbe for the explanation. כי במתן תורה היו כולם בקירוב ללקות, גם לפני כל שופר. On Matan Torah, everyone was close to godliness, even before the voice of the shofar. ולכן, גם על ידי שופר סתם אפשר גם. The Jewish people didn't need a grand shofar. They were at Mount Sinai. They saw the miracles. They were on such a level. Even a regular shofar was enough to awaken them. אבל בכדי לעורר את העובדים והנידחים, but to awaken the lost and the leftovers, the only way to awaken the people who are lost in Egypt, who are leftover, who are lost in Usher, who are the leftover in Egypt, is through the grand shofar. It shall be blown in a grand shofar. Delashon yitaka tav bekamatz. It's a kamatz under the taf. Moreshi takametro, which teaches us that it's going to be blown by itself. The revelation of the level of the grand shofar. It will awaken the neshamot of those who are lost, those who think they're secular, those who don't observe the Torah. Every single Jew will be awakened. They're not going to need an arousal from above at all. You feel like, what is it? The way I'm understanding this, now I'm adding my understanding. In the time of Matan Torah, every Jew was close to Hashem. They've seen the miracles. They've split the sea. There was Moshe Rabbeinu. They're about to receive the Torah at Har Sinai. They're in such a closeness to Hashem. But to awaken those who are far, the Jew who doesn't show up to synagogue, the Jew who's lost in Egypt still,
The Jew who walks through.
the Jew who walks around the shul on Rosh Hashanah and doesn't even walk in, even that Jew, it will awaken him. See, do we have time for, I think this is, we will Be'ezrat Hashem, since we started this Maamar, Bli Neder, we will continue this Maamar. We finished the first 3 sections. And this is a great Maamar to learn before Rosh Shannah, to get ourselves ready. It's last week we were learning the Maamar of Chai Elul, and the blowing of shofar on Chai Elul is on the level of Rosh Shannah.
Hallelujah.
And so we hope, as first of all, I invite everyone this Thursday night at 8:45 at Schneerson Center for Siyum Rambam. For those who are learning 1 chapters, it's the right time because we're finished the book of times. And it'll be on time, Be'ezrat Hashem. And I hope that by next week we can hear Mashiach Tzidkeinu tell us all about how we will hear shofar in the Beit HaMikdash HaShlishi this year. May we merit to have the redemption this month so that this next year will already be a year of Geulah. So I wish you all the best. And Baruch Hashem, we finished 3 parts. We will continue Be'ezrat Hashem with Daled next Monday. As we continue, and hope we will Be'ezrat Hashem before Rosh Hashanah learn about the grandness of the great shofar that will be blown by Yom Hahu. Kol Tuv, all the best. Mashiach now.